not that dead, but still not exactly what you're looking for.
Yes, and exactly. That could be the difference maker, though. That dead check. I mean, you never know.
I've gotten some good stuff out of him before. Now
Yeah.
the slight change that Seto has made to this, there's 3 edits to it. One is that multi-summon is on. The other is that Bum Rush is not the last blitz to be learned. So if you have blitz, you can go get that thing right away. And the last one, which is very exciting, is that Vanish Doom is in effect. Now, looks like we've started. We can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Looks like
Yep.
Shadow, Gao, and Sabin at the beginning.
Yep.
So while we watch them go off to their first ones, maybe you could explain what the Vanish Doom check is to everybody real quick.
Okay, so Vanish Doom is there's a little bit of a bug in the game, so whereas if you have Vanish enabled, if you have Vanish on an enemy or an ally, and then use magic on them, no matter what kind of magic spell it is, it will always work. Now, if you cast Doom or X Zone on that specific character or enemy, then it will bypass the immunity. But that's obviously not supposed to happen because of Final Fantasy VI. But for some reason, it still works. It was patched later on, but it's a thing.
Oh yeah, it was a very, very popular bug when I was younger playing this. Give them a Vanish Doomin. So at the start of it, looks like Yakko and Jexrock both went to Gao's father to do that quick little shadow check, and they both got a Kirin Esper out of it, but unfortunately it just had a slow and no stats on it, so it wasn't an incredible find, but at least they got that extra little rock there.
Yes, and hopefully they can, be able to put a little more, kind of a little more. What's the word? What's the word for it?
Yeah, it's not. There's not a lot of power in the Esper that they found, but it could be
power.
The difference between. For example, maybe they don't have to try for both Espers at the auction house now. We'll see how lucky they get.
Yes, and depending on it, will probably determine the outcome of all the racers. In fact,
I imagine it's a quick check, so I imagine everybody's gonna head on over there at some point or another.
Oh, I meant afterwards.
Ah, right. So Yakko's down in the Imperial camp right now, fighting a couple of random battles. That's a somewhat more popular, or not popular, check to do early on, just because you can. It's what is referred to as a peekable check, which means that they show you the result that you're going to get beforehand. At the very least, you know whether or not it's going to be a character. So some people like to save them for the end, but the alternative to that is you get a couple of forced random encounters, which you can use for some levels.
And it looks like Squack McQuack is doing the standard South Figaro check, item check, and shop check.
It looks like it. That's my favorite thing to do at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it definitely gives a whole lot of loot, and also it gives a good amount of stuff in the shops, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then, fortunately, the way that the game counts treasure, the World of Balance and the World of Ruin versions of South Figaro are sort of different. The underground is obviously the same, but on the overworld you can get a whole new set of tonics and bucklers if you head on over to the alternate version of it.
And also, the shops are different, so there's also that.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like Bismarck was the Esper that they found at the Imperial camp. So kind of nice. It's hard to find water damage in the game, and with multi-summon turned on, Bismarck might be able to help them skate by a couple of, if they run into any. I think a lot of the robotic bosses have a water weakness. I know at the very least our good friend Air Force does.
Something I actually was not expecting is Squack McQuack is actually doing the other part of South Figueroa Basement, the past the slush check through the door.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to go. There's a bunch of chests down there too that you can pick up. I know I found some decent stuff down there before. It can be a good way if you go through it and you find something that you like, that can be a good way to save a little bit of time, not having to go to some of the other common towns that have some decent items in it.
Looks like that was Setzer over at the collapsing house.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't notice. That'd be a really good one. Setzer's a mighty fine character to get early on. Oh yeah, FA01 decided to go up and check the cool barrel up in the cool corner.
Yeah.
I didn't see what he got up there, but
I didn't either. But
I love that move. Sometimes you find something in there.
It's a very cheeky check.
I love the cheeky checks. I'm a big fan of Burning House and Leet River. Big pop off every time somebody decides to jump in the water.
Interesting enough, Wako is going for the trap chest in there.
He did find some PM Stalkers, which is not a bad thing to find. It's obviously not an offering from Katana Soul, but it can still be worth a decent amount of experience points this early in the game.
Yeah, and experience points matter.
Oh yeah.
Any sort of experience points, since you're starting at basically level 3, so...
And levels are the name of the game. That is easily the most important stat. The most important number that the game considers is a character's level.
Yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to cast Bio on those guys.
Yeah, unfortunately they do absorb Bio, but Gao's just gonna do what he do.
Yeah. Sadly, you can't control Gao when he's in rage mode.
So it looks like there is some similarities to the opening gambits that a lot of our runners are taking right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Looks like Squack McQuack and Jax Rock are both doing the same check that Rocco's doing right now.
Oh yeah, it's a good check. I mean,
yeah,
with these characters up front, there's kind of some obvious good ideas to have in the beginning. Excuse me, brain fart. Gao's father, that's the one I was thinking of. That check is really good to do right out of the gate, because you can just walk right in there, figure out what's going on, whether or not you want to deal with it.
Oh yeah, honestly, I think it's one of the easiest checks in the game, assuming that you have the thing. It looks like Jeffy is going to be going for the wild character check on the belt.
Oh, hey, that's another good one if you can get lucky. Unfortunately, you can run into some bad luck with not getting the character to actually come out ahead. But it looks like he did not run into a battle before this, so fortunately for him, he's just going to have to fight a dog.
Yeah, that's actually probably the best thing. The other 3 are actually going to probably, most likely, run into a issue with that when they go to do it.
Ooh, the Zen Thief is selling Bahamut. That is another very fine thing to have. early on, especially with the multiple summon.
Yes, and Shoat was the reward for the Gao check.
Oh, okay, that's another good. I guess Shoat's a little bit less. I did learn recently that 3 of the 4 tentacles are actually weak against Petrify, so Shoat might be a nice little way to not have to deal with that nonsense.
Huh, I didn't actually know that. That's something good to know.
There are a surprising amount of status vulnerabilities that bosses have in this game. One of the most valuable resources for runners of this game is the wiki section of the website on ff6wc.com. There you can find a fantastic collection of guides and facts that people have written. That's where the fantastic algorithm fact is. Big list of enemy weaknesses and like which rages are worth using, that sort of thing. Well, speaking of, I did not get a good look at Gao's rage list. I'm gonna have to keep a watch out for that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Also, if you know, this whole community is fantastic. I myself am new to the community, and they've welcomed me very much so with open arms. If you want to, have further questions or whatnot about Final Fantasy 6 Worlds Collide, feel free to join the Discord. You know, we'd love to help you. We'd love to interact, what have you. So there is the Discord.
We are just a bunch of nerds that really like talking about Final Fantasy VI. So if you have a question, we will answer it.
Yes.
I missed what town he was in, but it looks like Squack McQuack found a Ragnarok in a shop somewhere. I think that might have been Zen.
Ooh, that's gonna really help.
I'm a big fan. It took me a while to get over the offering issue. I always wanted to put an offering on whatever character had the best weapon that I had, but with the way that Ragnarok and Illumina and any weapon that has either an MP crit or procs a spell does unfortunately not mesh very well with the offering. That does disable some of those functionalities, but hard to argue with a Ragnarok.
Oh, that's kind of a bust there. Squack McQuack tried to get that cheeky port item, and it was empty.
Oof. I hate seeing the empty. The signifier that a chest is empty gives you that extra little when it takes just slightly longer than a text box that has an item in it.
Yeah, because it's much more out of the way than the rest.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he took a little side trip, but he was rewarded with knowledge.
Yeah, at least there's that. Also, another thing that in the Worlds Collide is done, if you do have Setzer, you can just, when you're fighting the Doomgaze boss, you can just use the Search Disguise option in the World of Ruin, and boom, you found him.
Ooh, found Golem in Setzer's Check and Kolingen. That is a fantastic Esper to find. With Ice 3 on it, that is not even... And Cure 2, and Muddle. That's a mighty fine Golem right there. And Vanish!
That is going to help massively.
So, in addition to all of the good spells on that, why would we be very happy to find Golem in this game?
So, when you use Golem, the thing is, it will protect you against physical attacks. So stuff like the fight, like anything that is like fight command or special, with that stuff, it will take the damage for you, which in a lot of situations can be very, very helpful. Because of either you being a low level or the boss just hits way too hard, you don't have good gear, etc. So it's always good to have Golem on hand.
And in addition to that, Calmness, one of the nastier moves that the Tier 3 of Final Kefka has, does count as a physical attack. So Golem, Fenrir, and the Vanish spell will all protect you from that just horrible run-ending nightmare.
Yeah, and You never really. It's that one character that always gets hit with calmness is the
Yep.
one that you need for Final Kefka.
Oh yeah, it's always your highest damaging character, the only one that knows life 2, something. It's always the worst one.
That's why I try to, if I can, have life 3 cast on everyone.
Oh
if
yeah,
I don't
that's
have stuff like Golem.
that's a good one too. Having life 3. It looks like Fun Bobby. Fun. I believe that is the that is the
Fumbaba.
fantastic. That is
Fumbaba as the Doom Gauge.
the demon who just got off of his job as a trucker. Is hanging out in the sky.
I don't know what he's doing there, but hey.
It looks like one of the rages that Gao has is one of the praying mantises that has shrapnel. That is a mighty fine move to have.
Yeah. Oh, that is, yeah. So shrapnel is pretty good. It can be single or multi-targeted, but it does really good damage. And if I'm not mistaken, it counts as a magic attack.
Well, that's even better.
I think it's a magic attack. I don't think it's a physical attack. I think it's a magic. Nearly everything in this game is magic based.
That's true. Now, why is that a good thing? Because you'd think that you'd want to have a wide variety of character types, but why is magic the name of the game in this one?
Okay, so there are a lot of magic attacks, and the main thing of getting your magic power up, because you want to, since there are a wide variety of magic, everything is about magic in Final Fantasy VI, and so you kind of do want to increase your magic power because, War of the Magic, etc., 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 is, that's kind of the name of the game, I guess, the whole lore.
Yeah, and there's so many weird things that you wouldn't expect to scale with magic in this game. Like, I think there's 2 blitzes that use vigor, I think, total.
I think it's Pommel and Suplex?
I believe that's right, yeah. And then even then, sword tech, there's a couple of sword techs that use magic power, so we've been all figuring out lately that having Realm with sword tech is not that bad these days.
I think Retort is magic based.
Retort and Stunner, I think it's called. I know it's the level 6 one.
Yeah, Stunner. They're both magic power based. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
So it looks like Yakko Wacko is traveling through through Daryl's tomb. Found himself a second set of PM stalkers down there. I'm gonna find out what is buried down there.
Meanwhile, Squack McQuack is actually going and looking at the shops in Narsh and doesn't seem to have found much. Jox is going through the Imperial camp, and Keffy is just trying to find something in Thamasa, I guess. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it looks like Keffy is doing a little bit. He's not doing all of his town routing right out of the gate, which can be a good strategy if you want to try to save a little bit of time. If you know you're going to go by Thamasa anyway, you don't necessarily have to do it right first thing.
It looks like the Just don't.
You know you're probably going to beat him.
Just don't use anything to reflect.
Well, yeah. Not for flare.
I think he absorbs fire too, if I'm not mistaken.
I would not be surprised. Nullifies poison, wind, earth, and water.
What about absorbs?
Does not... Oh, yep, you're right. He absorbs fire.
Okay, I got something right. Yay!
Oh, hey, it looks like we're back.
Okay,
We've been
cool.
talking
We're
this
back.
whole time. Secret
This was
commentary.
our plan all along.
We gotta leave him wanting.
It was our plan all along.
Oh man, toilet Atma in the sky.
Atma in the sky. Atma's not super difficult. He has a few moves that are like super annoying, but nothing too overly difficult if you have the right setup.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to not have only attacks that he absorbs, thankfully, because it's all the weird elements. Like bolt, ice, and light, fire, not bolt and lightning.
And as we say
those are
that, Jeffy goes and takes him down.
Just blew him away.
And we will see who is on the floating continent.
Looks like it is a rock. Don't know what rock. Well, Jex rock is hanging out in the Videlt. Videlt.
Yeah.
It's a real word, but I don't know how it's pronounced. Someone in the chat pointing out a color scheme, which I also very much enjoy. I'm a big fan of everybody having their own unique window setup.
Yeah, I personally have my own as well.
A blue border, purple background.
Yeah, that one's cool.
We are missing two of the runners on the screen right now, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm very excited to find out what they've been up to. Oh, one of them's in the trench!
Hopefully, Seto gets that fixed.
Yeah, it looks like he's working on it pretty hard.
Oh, I see them now.
Hey, there they are.
Squawk McQuack is actually going through the river.
I believe that's the Serpent Trench, which is... I think it's an okay check to do. You get the bells in there, but it does take a little while.
Yeah, Squawk, it's going through there. Not a super great check, but it's a good check nonetheless. The enemy that he's fighting right now, enemy that Squawk McQuack is actually fighting right now, is one that has a lot of evasion. So
yeah, that can be a bummer.
It's really hard to hit unless you have like magic or some evasion ignoring attacks.
Fortunately, gave him a giant pile of experience points.
Yeah, definitely gonna help Squawk and through this specific place. So.
Seto's still struggling a little bit against the all-powerful machines to try to get us our entertainment.
Well, shout out to him, by the way.
He's doing the work.
He's doing the behind the scenes. So shout out to Seto. We're just commentating on the run.
We are just talking into a microphone, and that's it.
Yep, he's doing all the background stuff. So shout out to Seto.
Occasionally, I press left control.
He would, if it wasn't for Seto, we would not be seeing this great race.
Ooh, Poltergeist in the Atma weapon spot. Get them emotes out. Look at them chickens.
Oh, yeah, it reminds me of my last run I was doing.
It's never to find that guy.
Yeah. Ooh, he can be a bit annoying and a bit difficult. So definitely don't take him lightly.
Yeah, as you're saying that, looks like Shadow got taken out by Diffuser there.
Oh yeah. He has a whole bunch of tricks up his sleeve. It looks like Jackrock is also going up to the floating continent. So he will be facing the same bosses. So let's see what he does against the bosses coming up.
He does have that fourth character, so that gives him a little bit more firepower. But he also has looks like 2 more items that affect scaling over Jeffy, which I think that's something we forgot to mention earlier. The way that bosses and enemies get stronger in Worlds Collide is based off of scaling. And in this particular flag set, it is characters plus Magicite plus dragons times 2. So that would be the level of the enemy that they run into.
Yes, and that dragons part is the how many dragons they've killed.
Correct.
Which has been 0 so far.
Yeah, nobody has taken out an early dragon. I think everybody seems to be pretty happy with the levels that they've been able to get.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I were them, like, if you were one of these runners, one of these great runners, what would be in your mindset, right?
I think mainly if I'm on the floating continent, I want to make sure that I'm getting it. I like getting lots of one thing over another. If I'm going to the floating continent, I want it to be all espers, or I think only one of them is capable of having a character, and possibly 2. I don't remember off the top of my head. Ooh, Yako finding the Katana Soul.
That's an instant offering.
Did not catch where that chest was, but yeah.
It is in the World of Ruin Velt Cave.
Okay.
Yeah, Wacko going over there, and that chest, that's, it's not too out of the way, but I don't think it'd be a check that I would do personally first.
Possibly not, but there is always a fun little positive that you can get if you go and do something weird, something that isn't considered in the meta or whatever. And you find something really good there, and that's something you have access to before everyone else probably got there.
I missed what Jeffy got on the second floating continent item. Did you see?
Unfortunately, no. I was watching Squack squeak it out. Good job, Squack.
The Tree Talk Esper.
Thank you, chat. The third chair.
So, Jeffy making his way off the floating continent to fight one more boss, and we shall see what lies for Jeffy onward.
Yeah, Yako going back into the Velt Cave to try to get the item back there.
Oh, did Wacko go and what was that? I don't recall like a graphical cap it. What?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on.
No, I thought I saw some lightning happen there on the screen. What? I was like, what?
It did kind of look like a bolt effect, but I believe he's going after Katana Soul again.
Yeah, Katana Soul. If you can, I think, was it Sketch or Control? There's one of the. No, it's Confused. That's what it was.
Sketch also works in the same way, I believe.
So if you confuse Katana Soul, he can cast an instant death. He can do an instant death special on himself, and you instantly win.
It's a wonderful little trick.
If Muddle will work.
This is true.
Muddle doesn't always work. I know from personal experience.
Oh, Ultros won at the end of the Floating Continent. That's not too bad.
No, it's really not. It's
always nice to see his smiling face.
And look how happy he is. Down he goes.
And it looks like an NPC for the sprite.
Yep. Looks like a ghost.
And it's Carbuncle.
Ooh, Carbuncle. One of those kind of summons that I feel like are the one of the espers that I think is kind of people take a little underwhelming thing, because it can actually help you in certain situations. Especially if you need reflect and they're doing a lot of spells against you, it can be extremely helpful.
It's always nice to have as many tools as you possibly can in your belt.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since, well, you can have Fire 3, you can have Flare. Sadly, Ultima and Molten spells cannot be reflected, but Pearl, you got all these different ones that can be reflected. It's nice to have Carbuncle sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Looks like Dr. Rock is just finished off Poltergeist. Going to be getting.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's going to be getting his Tree Talk Esper. So we'll see where it goes. Looks like Jeffy is going in the same spot that Waka was going in. We'll see what happens.
He's opting to not go after the monster in a box.
That's actually interesting because, well, as we know as commentators and viewers, we know that this the Katana Soul, which could be actually really helpful. But in his case, I don't know. Would that be a play that you would be doing? Are you feeling confident with your equipment?
I think in general, if you have a feeling you're going to run into maybe a Valiant Knife, or if you've already found an Atma weapon or something like that, then it's usually a good prospect. But I think a lot of people try to avoid the time sink that they might have going after one of those if they are certain they're going to use it.
Oh, well, this fight isn't hard.
It's the leader.
Unfortunately, the dude missed.
The regular guy. And he's dead.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he got for his thing. Oh, Starlight. That's not too bad.
Juckrock's doing the Vanish Doom glitch. Showing that off.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I was so happy when I saw that. I was really excited.
Yeah, and if you're going down the floating continent, directly to the right. Otherwise, that part right just collapse, and you won't be able to get the treasure, even if you wanted to.
In this case, it's beads, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but you never know until you take it.
Yeah. So especially if you're feeling behind in certain terms of equipment, that could be the difference maker.
So the current scores right now, it looks like Jex is in the lead. He's going to get another Esper after this Ultros fight. He's got 4 characters, and that'll put him up to 8 Espers, which gets him a pretty decent lead over everybody else. Yakko nipping at his heels with 4 and 6. FA coming in kind of from the side with 3 and 7. And then Squack McQuack having a lot more like power behind him, but the checks have not quite been in his favor. The Serpent Trench earlier was unfortunately a snow muffler.
Yeah. Jeffy actually going and doing this, finally doing the check here at the collapsing house, looks like.
Yeah.
But first I guess he's gonna go a little shopping.
Yeah, no, that house will be there when he's done.
Yeah.
He finds the Ragnarok.
Oh, was that an actual weapon shop?
Yep. I thought it was in World of Balance, but maybe it was World Ruin.
65,535 was it, or was it 65,345?
I think it was maxed out, so it's 6, 5, etc.
Yeah. 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 The Ragnaroks are pretty expensive, but you can get it and you can equip it. Boom.
Oh yeah. Flaring all sorts of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't ever count Ragnarok out.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it may not be an Illumina, but it works.
So it does look like we have a lot of runners kind of crossing each other's paths here. Pretty low on characters so far. They're starting to exhaust a lot of their options here.
Yeah, it looks like we're narrowing down on all the character kind of checks.
Yeah, so it's kind of looking.
We're getting a lot of Espers.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those floating around. So in this sort of situation, do you think that you're going to Kafka at Narsh? Because it seems like that could be a linchpin for a lot of this.
If I'm feeling a little bit cheeky, I might, because I'm like, okay, so a lot of people don't really do that without Mog and Ortera, and so I'll be maybe if I'm feeling a little cheeky, it might be the thing to do, honestly.
It's not a popular check.
Yes, we have seen Daryl's too. That is correct.
Yes, there was an Esper in there. Looks like Starlet.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I was just saying the Kafka at Narsh check can be good for early in the game when you don't have a bunch of levels left. So you get a couple of extra little fights in there. They're easy to dodge. If you fight one and you don't like what you see, you don't have to do any more. Plus, you get to find out what you're going to get before you actually do it. It's another one of those peekable checks.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, you know, Kafka Nurse. Yeah, so far apparently no one should be able to equip Ragnaroks, which is kind of a downer.
Oh, that is rough.
But once we do get someone who can, you bet we're going to be seeing more of that. If you were one of these runners, one of these great runners, which would you do in terms of Sabin checks? Mount Colts, Train, or the obvious Kefket Nurse?
I think if I'm Jexrock or Jeffy, I am going to the Train first. Because if you see it's a character, that's fantastic. If you see it's an Esper, you can then make the decision at that point, or Esper or Dead Check. you can make the decision at that point whether or not you want to try for it, or if you want to just dip out and worry about buying your last Esper at the auction house.
Yeah. I mean, because we've already found all but one Esper that we need. So we're mainly looking for characters at this point.
It's true.
And then after that, we're pretty much in go mode.
So it looks like Squack is going after Mount Colts, which is a good check. You've got a few chests along the way. It's a nice hike, but it's just the one boss at the end, and then you're done. You don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's a save point right before the boss, so there's all that safety measure there if you want to take that.
Yeah,
definitely a thing that you could do. In my opinion, it is actually quicker to do that than the train check. But I think the train check is like easier to do, like on the eyes, and stuff to actually know what you're doing.
Yeah, the train check is good because you can peek what's going on first. And the chat mentions that somebody wishes they could peek it via Vargas's sprite, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. That would be great. But that might mess with the sort of balance of each individual check. Like, Phantom Train is longer, but you can see what you're getting earlier. I guess you can even just get it earlier.
It looks like it's Ultros too.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but Yakko Wacko is looking at Valiant Knives in Nikia, which is a very rare town to go.
That's an interesting check. I honestly wasn't expecting that.
I believe he's doing it after doing the Serpent Trench.
That would make sense then. Okay. Meanwhile, Jax Rock is going for the cheeky trap chest in the Cave in the Veldt.
Oh, taking care of the leader. Or wait, no, that's not the leader. That's that guy.
Yeah, it's the offering guy. Apparently, we found Edgar.
Oh, yeah, Squack found Edgar. Ah, shoot. I missed that.
I missed that as well, so thank you, chat.
You're the real heroes.
Yes, we would be broadcasting to no one and talking to no one if it weren't for chat.
We're both figments of the other's imagination, so we really appreciate that the chat is here to help pick up the slack.
Yes, it would not be a show without the combined efforts of the people doing it, the Seto doing this, the background stuff, and you guys, you the chat here who is watching. So we appreciate it. It looks like Jeffy is going for the World of Ruin check for the calling Jen. Got an Esper. I missed what it was.
Ooh, gem box on the Phantom Train.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
too great. Yeah, he's snoping out of that.
Yeah, I if I were Quack, I would do the same thing.
Oh, Edgar was on Colts. Duh. That's where he was earlier. Okay.
Yeah, Colts. I'm like, yeah.
The thing that we were talking about for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah, it's like, don't you know?
But yeah, that puts him in a very unique position, possibly giving him the ability to start pulling ahead of everybody else, since he has access to 3 checks that nobody else has even been able to sniff at yet.
Yeah, specifically, I honestly think that puts Quack in the lead, honestly. But there is always tides to turn, so we will see if it turns.
Jaxrock and Jeffy are both in they're in interesting position. They both have 9 espers. So unless they see a character sprite at any of these checks, that means that now they have to make a decision about whether or not they want that extra esper, or if they want to save some time and go look for a character.
And we, as commentators and viewers, we know that Colt has Edgar, so that could be leading towards the South Figaro, the Figaro Castle check, as well as the underground Figaro Castle check. Or checks, yes.
Jex Rock checking shops in Narsh. Let's see if he heads up the mountain. Nope. Looks like he is... Oh, never mind. He might just be going to the classroom first.
Yeah, that would make sense. They're going to maybe a little bit of looting if you're unsure.
We gotta finish it out.
And maybe you want a little more sellables at the same time.
So all of this adventure happening is thanks to all of the wonderful people who keep this community running smoothly. Everybody in the Discord, obviously these runners here, they're doing the work. They're performing for all you good people out there, and we really appreciate all of the work that everybody's putting into this. The Seto Kaiba on the ones and zeros out there, making sure everything's working properly. We have Ceiling Cat running the tracker, which is a very complicated job. We really appreciate them.
Yes, and my partner in crime, Turdsman, here with me on commentary. Definitely a thrill to have be on commentary with you.
Yeah, this has been great. Oh, good, he is going up there. All right, we're gonna see what's behind Kefka.
Yeah. Ooh, let's see. Is it a character? If
Cyan. He didn't even bother with the save point. He wants that guy.
Oh yes. Okay, Cyan could be his main lead into be getting ahead.
That also has the same potential to really shoot him up the rankings, because Cyan has a bunch of checks, one of which is free with no boss. The other one is very quick, but with a boss. And the last one is another one of those multi-part checks that has a unique distinction of only having 2 bosses in it instead of 3 or 4.
Yes, so he is some of his checks are very quick. Even the ones that aren't super quick are still easy enough, simple. So ahead from let's say Edgar, who has to go through an entire dungeon or 2 to get said checks done. Cyan, just one of the checks is you fight the one boss is just going to the castle and boom, fight the boss, done.
Yep. And another weird boss on Jax's screen. You got Chatternook. I'm gonna do my best pronouncing this stuff. Hey, and he's using the Vanish Doom. Gonna take care of that.
I say Chatternook, but it could be the other way. It could be a different thing.
The Chad.
Yeah, let's just say the Chad. It makes it easier. What do you think?
I think Chad works pretty well.
Good old Chad.
At the weapon in the noodle room. Squack the Quack going through the Figaro Underground. Probably will be going after the Ancient Cave after that.
Yes, I can see that actually happening because it's right there.
Oh, Grand Train is the
Grand
name
Train.
of
Okay. I was like, I can't remember what the actual name is. Yeah.
We saw it again.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Normal Train.
No more
which
train.
just, I think, blind and mute.
Oh, that was a bane of one of my last Worlds Collide seeds. Oh my goodness.
It's rough.
So I had a full set of magic going into Final Kefka, and then I get hit with Train with no immunity to anything like that. And I'm going, oh my goodness, this is so bad, because I was like, I barely survived Final Kefka with one character left. And it was only because one of my characters got hit with. That was it. Yeah, I was not expecting Jax to actually save there. That was actually save inside the beginner school thing. That's actually something I wasn't expecting.
It could be that maybe reflex. I know I save a lot too often when I'm playing through this, just because it's like a reflexive thing. And lock at Dome Castle.
Ooh, that opens up some more checks. I think for right now, Jax is in the lead, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's got the Nespers he needs, and after he gets locked, that's gonna put him in go mode.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. He's got the characters he needs. Yeah, I think this just the routing that Jax did is what caused him to be in the lead. Honestly.
Oh yeah, he's the. I mean, I've been doing my best to watch 4 screens at once, but he is the only one that I've seen use Vanish Doom more than once.
Yeah. Also, I think that's why.
Squack McQuack sneaking in front.
Ooh.
Finding a go-go on the Figaro throne, pretending to be Edgar.
Yeah. Gogo's actually pretty interesting as a character. You want to explain what I mean?
Sure. He's the mimic of this game. Started in Final Fantasy V as just some guy who could apparently breathe water. He has a very unique skill set. He just has Mimic at the top instead of Fight, and you have to go into the status screen to fill in the rest of his command slots. And he has access to almost everything that people can get in this randomizer. I believe Magitech, but Magitech is not even in this flag set. And then a couple other things that are escaping me right now that don't fill in there. Health, I believe, is one that he can't put on his list, but he can put on Lore, he can put on Rage, he can put on Magic there. He's a good character to have if you need a space filled. Shock as well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely Gogo is one of the best characters in the game in terms of what he can use. The only thing that, kind of is bad about him is he can't use the Esper bonuses.
That's true. And his base stats aren't that great either, so you're kind of relying on earrings, Atma armlets, or high stat equipment to get him up to speed. Jexford, though, finding an offering really quick at the lock check in Evil Narsh there will serve him pretty well to go along with any of Valiant Knives that he might find. Looks like he's going to go and pick up... Oh, he's got an Atma weapon. He's going to go and try and pick up a...
that was a behemoth suit. That was a behemoth suit at the opera.
That's not a bad one. I enjoy getting good armor. I think when you're going up against the Kefka Tower, sometimes you can get kind of caught off guard if you've been ignoring your physical defense during the game. So getting equipment like the Behemoth suit or even some Genji stuff, like late on when you don't have to worry about selling stuff anymore, can be a really big help.
Yeah, it looks like Squack is going into the Kefka's Tower.
Looks like it. Yeah, he's got levels in the mid-30s. He's got a pretty good team. He might be able to pull this off.
Yeah. Honestly, I think he can do it.
An interesting benefit from getting characters late is when you pick up a character late on, they will have a higher level because it's averaged with the characters you already have. So Squack took him a while to get his team together, but Gogo showed up at the end, and he showed up at level 33.
Yes, and he is the first person in Kefka's Tower at around about the hour mark.
So now that we're heading to the tower, I would like to direct everyone to follow our runners. These guys are doing great. They do this a lot, and it's always a good time to watch. I've personally watched a bunch of these guys' streams as they're just screwing around in this awesome game. Definitely worth a follow.
Oh yes, and I watched a few of them, and the play is just great. I love watching do this.
Chat is pointing out Jeffy is going into the auction house to try to get KT Skip, which that is not a bad idea, especially if you can get away with just buying your way in. Yeah,
obviously I think that's a good play. Me personally, I probably would have just dove right in, but that's a good approach.
If it works, it gives him a few extra minutes. Unfortunately, if he runs into the rich kid, then that would be a huge bummer.
Surprisingly, Squack is actually fighting the Atma boss, which is the Infernal, apparently.
Oh, is that the Atma boss?
Yeah, that's who's in place of Atma is the Inferno.
Okay.
It's
probably looking for... Ooh. Sorry, go ahead.
He's having a hard time with the fight. Really
Inferno's a rough one.
Yeah. I don't... Yeah,
Ooh, got wiped. Yeah. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I guess he probably wanted a few extra levels or something going in there. I think the Atma check in here gives you a high level item after it's done. That's something I actually didn't know, because I often don't go and talk to that guy.
Yeah, it was a wipe. Sad. Oh, see if he goes back in.
Looks like he's going to go take it back in. Maybe he'll swap his team around a little bit.
I don't think fighting that boss is actually required, though. But...
No.
I'm sure he's just doing it for the save point.
Oh, that's possible.
Which I can respect. I can respect that. So sometimes if you're like unsure and whatnot's what's coming up next, kind of need that extra little bit of safety.
Yeah, it's never a bad idea to play it safe, especially if you feel like maybe you're running quick. You want to calm down a little bit to make sure that you don't end up losing some time.
Yes, especially the overconfidence thing is what gets a lot of runners. It's gotten me in the past, so definitely don't get too overconfident.
There is an unfortunate amount of randomization in this randomizer, and you can run into just some bad luck.
Yeah, and main thing just to go about it is sometimes you have to be patient.
That's true.
Honestly, that's sometimes what it comes down to. So I think that might be more or less what Squack was doing when he got the save point. Trying anyway.
Gonna go take another shot at it.
Yep.
Yakko Wacko finishing off the floating continent. Gonna get an extra Esper at the end of that. Unfortunately, not the progression he's looking for.
Yeah, sadly, that's not going to have the progression, but in other words, though, it will give him the Espers. It will give him, three Espers, was it?
I missed what I think it was just 1 and 3 both had Espers, but I think the middle one was something else.
No, the second one was Treetop.
Oh, you're right.
And third one?
So, I guess there were 3 Espers on the floating continent. Well, I guess that explains why everybody ended up with like 8 or 9 for the longest time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Jeffy deciding to go down into the Figaro basement. Looks like the auction house wasn't giving him what he wanted. So he's going to take another avenue to try to get the KT skip.
Yes. If you're Jeffy right now, and your mindset is try to get the KT skip, but you already failed at the auction house, what are your thoughts going forward?
I think if he's dedicated to wanting to get it, he can get it. And it's tough to know if your time investment is going to go the way you want it to. But I think he's probably thinking that doing this is more of a sure thing than sitting around in the auction house and just kind of clicking through stuff. Oh, looks like Squack got through the Inferno.
Yep.
Oh, just barely.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have been paying attention to that.
Yeah, Petrify on Go-Go. That's... Ooh, yeah, that was a
Oh, it's just little Magimaster. Okay. It's just his little brother.
Yeah, it's number 24.
Yakko heading through the Mount Colts.
I
Gonna get himself an Edgar.
I just learned something new today.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Number 24.
And now you all know that I need to buy one of those little screens for a microphone that stops the plosives.
I had no idea you could be imped. I legitimately learned something today.
Yeah, me either. Imp, Vanish, and Doom. He's just really embarrassing, this guy.
Yeah, Imp, Vanish, Doom, next.
Just make him wish that he didn't even come to work today.
Yeah. Oh, Squack is actually fighting the dragons.
Taking on a gold dragon. He must want to get a couple extra levels before he goes into the tower. It can be nice if you're not confident with either your offense or your defense. You might want to just squeeze a couple extra last-minute levels after the high-level bosses that are hanging out in the tower.
Interesting. The SR Behemoth as well? You can imp that too? First phase.
Only phase 1, it looks like. That's odd.
I wonder why it's only phase 1.
Jexrock also taking a dragon in the tower to get Lock and Setzer juiced up.
Yeah, and we have 2 running? Or no, oh, he left Kefka's tower. I didn't see that. My bad. Should have been paying attention.
Looks like Jeffy is heading into the tower as well.
Yeah, and about the same time that,
Yakko's not too far behind.
Yeah, it looks like we're coming towards the end of this. I wonder who's going to hit the Kefka fight first.
Jexrock finding an economizer off of the Storm Dragon in there. That could be a very interesting build change for one of his characters. I know that there's Merton out there.
Yeah. I was aware that Dataluma...
Yeah, Dataluma is vulnerable to the game. He's not very good at this.
Yeah. But it looks like Jektrok is getting closer and closer to Kefka. Closest thing looks like it's closest so far.
Looks like Jeffy got his skip, which I just realized I forgot to explain properly. The Kefka Tower skip is a special little objective that you can get if you collect an abundance of either characters or espers. I believe it's 12 espers and 9 characters. And if you get those, that allows you to skip the first boss of the Kefka Tower, so it would normally be the Inferno fight. I missed what it was in this case. I know Inferno was on the Atma spot.
That looked like it really hurt.
It did. It was shrapnel.
I don't think it was shrapnel. It might have been shrapnel, but it just did 2,000 damage. So I saw. I went, ooh.
So yeah, Jeffy using that skip puts him within spitting distance of Jexfarok. So they're kind of jockeying for first place right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That skip seemed to really help Jeffy. Massively, actually.
Yeah, played out for him.
I don't know what the actual time difference thing is for if it doesn't turn out. Faster?
The skip, one piece I forgot to mention is it also skips all of that weird puzzle stuff. So you don't have to step on switches, you don't have to move platforms. I believe in all, depending on what the boss is, it saves between like 5 to 10 minutes.
Whoa, that is
probably closer to 5 than 10.
That's still a big difference. Jeffy's already has one character on a Switch.
Yep, it can be the clincher. It definitely has allowed me to stay in the running on seeds that I otherwise thought I wasn't doing too good at.
Chat pointing out that skip saves 5 to 7 minutes or more.
That's probably more accurate.
First boss is difficult. Yeah, it's good. It seems like it, you know.
Looks like.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to comment. Looks like Crane's over on Jeffy's screen on the right-hand side, where the goddess statue normally is, and Jexfarok blowing through something I missed. He got rid of it right quick.
That was Tree Talk.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you got Fire 3. That guy's not going to be around for much longer.
Flare Star coming in on the cranes. That's something you don't want to see unless you have actual fire protection. I actually think Sister does. Yeah.
Most of America and Britain is also dealing with Flare Star right now, so I feel their pain.
Yeah, well, you can't have everything.
We do not have fire shields.
Sadly, that is the case.
As a red-headed shut-in, I do not have good fire resistance.
Yeah. Oh, chat also pointing out that it's 4 minutes without the Inferno spot, thinking that it's 4 minutes 15 seconds.
Okay, is that like the time it takes to walk the distance?
Versus the extra skip itself.
Yeah.
Well, we sometimes do walk into walls.
Sometimes you walk into a wall. Look, everybody has a weakness.
Sometimes you just gotta accept it.
You just gotta bump your nose every now and then.
Just embrace the crazy or embrace what have you. It's okay.
Yakko Wacko coming out of the ground. Hopefully going to... Oh, he is
now?
going to head up to the throne and find his go-go.
Jeffy just finishing the crane fight.
Very nice. I saw him getting bopped here and there, so good job.
Yep, with both characters alive.
You'll have to see it.
Indeed.
And Jexfrock getting through, I believe that is the, number 128. Which I believe would have been the left-hand statue.
I believe... Yep, that one. More 128. First boss that Jeffy fought on Kefka's Tower.
Okay, so they're both down to one statue each at this point. So they're neck and neck.
Yeah, they are. They're neck and neck.
Jeffy has not found the Guardian slot yet.
So that puts Jexfrock in the lead, I think. So far, I think that's an accurate statement.
I believe so. And yeah, Yakko getting his 6th character. And now he has to make the decision. Is he going to go after that one last rock before he heads into the tower?
Yes, and this will impact a lot of things going forward for Wacko.
He's got good levels. He's got good equipment. He could probably waste whatever's in the Inferno slot.
Looks like going to Jydor.
Yep, he is going to go do it. He's going to go spend some money.
And sadly, it's not going to work out for him, as we know. But
well, I think... I actually don't know if you are required to buy the item in the Hero Ring slot, or if it's random. I believe it's random, so he could get kind of lucky.
Deciding to sell some stuff off. I mean, you gotta clean your inventory out. It gets trashed every once in a while.
I mean, you gotta find the garbage.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and Jexfrock in the blink. That means he is done with the statues. So he is gonna set his party up, and he's gonna go fight God.
Yes, Jexfrock is the first person to enter the final Kefka fight. We'll see how he does on the fight itself. Has a few phases. Probably the most annoying is probably the third? Yeah, probably the third phase.
I would say so, yeah.
Once you get over to Kefka, it's not too bad. The worst thing about that fight is probably the Fallen Angel one at the very start. That's what he does at the very start.
The counter attacks can be pretty rough too. Yakko getting some good luck and buying that unicorn out of the auction house right away, so he has his skip.
Ooh, yes, that's it's really good.
So as we head into the final fight here, I'd like to take a quick moment to plug the website again, FF6WC.com. They've got a big section full of guides, and one of the coolest thing in that section is an infographic of the whole Kefka Tower fight at the end here, starting with Tier 1 here, heading all the way up to Kefka, and it has a bunch of information about all of the weird little intricate details of all of these different targets. So we're starting at Phase 1. What are we looking for in Phase 1 here?
In Phase 1, there's a few things to watch out for. I forget, but I think it's if the head has gone before one of the two arms is defeated, you'll get the shockwave, and I think isn't there a magnitude 8 to the fight if you kill the head last?
I think it's the right arm, so long arm, the one closest to the screen there. That's what does the shockwave.
Is it Quake or is it Mag 8? I don't remember.
Say that again?
Is it Quake or Magnitude 8?
Quake, when the face dies, but only if it's the last one.
Yes. So yeah, the last one to die. You mainly just want the shockwave because unless you have float on.
Well, if you save the short arm, so the statue's left arm there, the one making a little fist, that does not have a final counter, so that's usually the one you want to save for last. And thankfully, the long one is weak to Doom, so you don't even have to use Vanish on that guy.
I don't think you can use Vanish on this specific thing.
Probably not.
I've heard you can do Joker Doom though.
That's quite a strat.
Reverse Joker Doom, and then just set Mimic to do it over and over and over again. I've seen that used in speedruns.
I keep forgetting about Mimic. That move is so good.
Oh yeah, and the coolest part about it is that it doesn't matter what kind of face you use it on. It's just what you use last.
So, chat pointing out, Vanish Doom works on everything except Kefka, which is
really?
pretty huge. I would definitely use that in Tier 3.
Oh yeah, I actually wasn't aware of that. Thank you, chat, for pointing that out.
Tier 2 right here, though, is 4 targets, all of which do a bunch of different weird stuff. That big face down there is called Tiger because it's a tiger face, and it's got some interesting attacks. I forget why it's so dangerous. I think it has a petrify. I know it can zombie. I always get rid of it as fast as possible. And then right above him, the naked blue Kefka statue there, that is hit. It uses pretty much exclusively physical attacks, and when it dies, it uses 10 hit, which is 10 separate, moderately powerful physical attacks. In the main game, with the gear you have at that point, it'll probably be doing about 1 to 200 damage. I've seen it go up to 500 if you're rocking in with leather hats and stuff.
So, what would you say is the most dangerous second phase part?
Magic, easy. If you don't have mute, at least. If it uses a lot of very powerful spells, and it uses them all the time, but it doesn't do anything else. So it's weak to mute for some reason. So if you can get that guy just muted, he will just be back there mouthing Fire 3 and bolt at you, but he can't do nothing.
Yeah, when you get that out of the way, I think the most annoying part about Phase 2 is, in fact, that 10 hits.
Yeah, it can really catch you off guard if you got somebody that, especially if you're using like a Valiant Knife user and they've got like 1 HP or whatever, that could really trip you up. A Dark Horse difficult spot is Machine in the middle, or Tools. I forget what the official name is. Statue of the Gods Q, or whatever. That thing has a lot of lore and monster abilities that can really sneak by a lot of your defenses. Ooh, Shadow got stopped up in their Vectrox.
I did see freeze going on as well.
Yeah, I believe he had used Fire 2 to get everybody out of that.
It looks like Schwack got either destroyed by the cranes, or he just plain reset because of bad RNG.
Ooh, that can be rough. Yeah, the crane fight can... a lot of these fights in Kefka's Tower, they're going to be as powerful as anything that you're running into outside of the last boss itself. So you're running into enemies that might not seem that dangerous, but they might pull out something like Gigavolt or Flare Star or something else ridiculous endgame thing. Except for Welk. Welk's great.
So, Flare Star, what it does is it's based off of your level, and it's a fire attack. So if you've got something like a flame shield, you can absorb it, all that damage. We are seeing the first dot done, by the way, at 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 27 seconds.
Well, congratulations.
GG to Xenovian.
Bringing up that final boss guide that I was talking about earlier. Accessible through the wiki on the website. It's a wonderful little infographic. Tells you about all the weird stuff that this final boss does.
Yeah, and believe me, if you don't know a whole lot of things about it specifically, that is a very good guide. Stuff like that really helped me out when I was first playing Worlds Collide. Definitely do recommend it.
I mean, I've been doing this for months, and I still throw up about 4 or 5 of the guides off in a separate window.
Yeah. Apparently, Esper summons can get retargeted from Muddle. I didn't realize that.
There has been some weird stuff about that happening. I remember a different runner on their stream had a similar situation where I believe it was they got muddled as they were targeting a throw, and they ended up just chucking a heal rod, I think, at one of their own characters. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Ooh, man. Chex Rocks going into the 3rd phase.
Yeah, Tier 3 is easily the scariest one for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So why don't you give everybody a quick breakdown on why these two are so nerve-wracking?
Okay, so first off, in the phase 3, we have the girl who, if the other enemy dies, she brings him back. So you need to make sure that she dies first. She also can do stuff like Molten, which targets everyone with fire, but they're completely immune to it. So there's that. And the other one is what you want to actually fear the most, because when he dies, he does Calmness. Sometimes he does it twice, which is an instant death special. So you do want to be aware for that.
Yeah, that is the main worry, is doing everything perfect up to this point, and then Calmness just knocks out your 2 biggest damage dealers. But fortunately, I believe everybody found Golem. I would be surprised if anyone didn't take the Kolaghan check, since everybody has Setzer.
Yeah, I believe they did. I could be wrong though.
So, like we mentioned earlier, that is a very effective. Oh, excuse me. Oh God, that is a effective way to prevent Calmness from coming at you, since it's considered a physical attack.
Yes. So any physical attack, Golem will block. So you do want to make sure you have that in for the Calmness, especially considering that it's death. If you don't have Life 3 active, obviously if you have Life 3 active, you'll just come back to life.
And Life 3 is also very good to resist the Meteo counters that happens that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Meteo, it doesn't hit 100% of the time, but it is kind of, you can find it as a little overwhelming at times, especially if you get hit by that Molten from the girl, and you get hit by that Meteo. Oh, that could be a run destroyer right there. You have to be really weary.
That's upwards of 2,500 damage just happening all of a sudden.
Yeah. So, yeah. Zekrock's going into the final Kefka phase.
That's right. First one to see the big gold stuff.
I wonder what Kefka keeps up there.
Appears to be loincloths. And whatever he's got in his hair there. That's the feather.
No, I was talking about like in the final phase, you know.
Oh.
I wonder what he keeps up there.
Looks like everybody is making their way up the tower except for Yakko Wacko, but he is well on his way. Just took out the cranes and is not far behind everybody.
Yes, and is still anybody's race at this point. And
Absolutely.
Final hit on Kefka, and the done happens.
He can trick you around. This guy's got a lot of weird stuff that he can do. He has a lot of counters, there's that fallen one.
Yep. I've seen a lot of fights, a lot of Kefka fights in there.
Oh, chat pointing out another fun little bug, permamorph. So if you use the morph command and ascend one of the tiers in the final Kefka fight, that morph command will not go away in... Am I a liar? I didn't see. Did he select revert?
Did he select revert, or did he completely do something different? I don't know. I'm questioning this.
This game is a mystery to mankind. Its secrets are unknown to all.
We might be seeing, if this fight doesn't end soon, we might see a goner come.
Okay, chat, thank you for making up for my deficiency there. Your morph bar has to hit 0 during a part's death attack animation. So a 10 hit or magic using all of his dispels, quake, shockwave, anything like that.
That makes sense.
That is at least harder than something that you can just do almost every single time, no matter what.
Yeah. Honestly, this fight isn't looking too bad.
Yeah,
we got and Jexrock is done with a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 58 seconds. GG.
Oh. Yeah, GG Jexrock. My stream might be a little behind. Get that fixed up, and then we can get him in here for an interview.
It looks like... I want
to ask him lots of stuff.
Looks like, yeah. It looks like
Jexrock.
Looks like we're going to be, yeah. GG's. And looks like we are joined by Jexrock. GG's.
Yeah, GG's, man.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, we can.
Excellent, GG's.
Yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, GG's.
So, I think the first thing that I want to ask is, how excited were you when you found Golem?
I was happy when I found Golem. Honestly, when I go into KT, nowadays, especially with the Ultros flags, I generally don't expect to have calmness protection. So having Golem was nice. Having multi-summon available because of the little flag tweaks, that was really, really nice. That made my tier 1 tolerable.
So I have a question to ask. What was your first thought, since I think you were the only person in this entire race that abused Vanish Doom? What were your thoughts on that?
Oh, Vanish abused the crap out of it.
It's the best thing, the best solution to every problem.
There's a few bosses it was I couldn't use it on, which is fine. Spicy chicken was one of those guys. I just found an alternative way to just smack him into the ground. Being able to use it on Chatternook, that was really, really useful. I hate that boss. He is one of my, he is up there on the list of most feared bosses, because usually I'm not running around packing lightning protection.
Oh yes, can definitely be a run wrecker for sure.
Yeah, so being able to smack him around with that was quite useful. I was a little sad I never came across Bum Rush, but that's okay. Aside from that, I was a little worried at the tail end of my Kefka fight, because I was running out of MP, and all I had was an ether and a few tinctures left.
Yeah, I saw you pull out the fire shield there near the end for some easy damage on a character that didn't have anything else to do at the moment.
Yeah, using the flame shield is a normal strat, or using an elemental shield on tier 4 Kefka is a normal strat, because it's a tier 3 spell that ignores defense, so it's always going to do big damage.
Yes, and I think that's what how you actually you found what was it? You found Cyan and Locke, whereas Squack found Edgar and
yeah, I'm seeing Go-Go and Edgar.
Go-Go and Edgar up there, and actually hit Go first, but you managed to pull through and do it. So GG's onto your routing, such.
Yeah, congratulations, Jexrock.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Trying to think. There was a couple other notes. Oh yeah, the end of my Kefka fight. I almost ate a party wipe.
Yeah, I saw that. That was scary.
And
Yeah.
I was in big trouble if Locke didn't get that kill. I was in real big trouble because I put Gal into toe cutter mode, and he would not have been able to revive anyone if Locke went down, and he was muted, and he was not able to cast shrapnel. So that was a little scary.
Yeah, I pulled it out though, thankfully, and first on stream, not quite the first in the race, but the first that everybody saw.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions for Just Rock before we?
I think I'm good. Happy to see Vanish Doom.
Yeah. And we don't want to hold you up anymore. So.
Just one more thing to go with everything.
Sure.
Everything.
Okay.
Anybody that is first time viewing or new to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, please join our Discord. Follow our racers. Follow our restream crew. If you come join Discord and you're new, feel free to ask questions. We are all happy to help you.
It's a great community.
Yeah. So. You have any more questions, or can we don't want to hold you up all day, so
Nope, good to go. Again, GG's, thanks for having me.
All right, yeah, congratulations, man. Thanks for having the interview.
Thanks for being here.
And now let's see if we can get Squack in. He finished a few minutes after Jexfrock, and unfortunately, Jeffy took a forfeit after having a really rough Kefka fight. That was unfortunate. Hard to blame him.
All right, we are joined by Squack McQuack.
Hey.
Oh boy, what a rough scene for me. Oh my god.
Not many characters. So I really want to ask. You were the first one to jump into Serpent Trench. What were you thinking when you went to take that check?
So I kind of had some problems with that, with my first beginning check. I didn't run into any super balls. I'm sure you guys noticed I was kind of over-looting. I was trying to go to different shops to look for super balls to make my start a lot faster. Couldn't find anything, so I took One of the fixed checks I took Sabin's, I believe, Imperial Camp, and that was so I can get fixed encounters without any bosses. And Serpent's Trench was also fixed encounters without any bosses, because I didn't really want to run into anything that was going to completely stonewall me. So I just took 2 checks that had fixed encounters and no bosses so that I can get my levels up. And it's a good thing I did that, because I found some nice goodies along the way. So as soon as I did that, I was able to just kind of catch back up and continue on, I probably, I guess. And I mean, not that I know where everybody else is at, but I kind of schmoed. I was worried about the characters. But then when I found Edgar, I was like, oh, perfect. I'll just do Edgar's checks, because the likelihood of a character being an Edgar's check is pretty high, probably. So I ended up doing Edgar's check, and the first one was I think Magicite, and the second one was a character, and that's when I was in Go mode. But I was still worried about my levels, so I ended up doing Opera House Dragon just to get a little bit more levels, and then I tried to do a couple of the Kefka's Towers bosses, and you saw how that went. So
Yeah, so I was curious. You were the first one to go to Mount Colts and get Edgar. What were your thoughts on that?
In all honesty, I just I knew that I needed characters, and I didn't really need espers. If I ran into Magicite, that would have been totally fine. But I think I was at like 8 at that point, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want any more. I want to do the fastest checks that I can, and Sabin's were the fastest checks that I could possibly do. So what I did before that was the waterfall. That was a Magicite, and then I did, and then I went right over to the last Sabin check that I had to do, which was the mountain there. And after that, I was going to go. I'm not even sure what I would have done next, but that was my only plan, was to go to the mountain and finish up Sabin's checks, because he were the fastest ones that I had.
Yeah, I think after Mount Colts, the only character available at that point would have been Cyan at Kefka at Narsh.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I did not want to go to Kefka at Narsh. That was
Yeah, not a lot of people did.
Yeah, Kefka at Narsh had Cyan, and what was the boss again?
Oh, I forget. It was something gnarly, but I forget what it was exactly.
Cat,
I stopped taking notes at about minute 35 because I was just like watching, like, oh man.
Can you, Cat? Can you kind of point it out if you remember?
I do remember. I do like
Chad, that's right.
Right.
I did like that. That's all right. That's all right. I did like the fact that I was able to find Valiant knives. I'm not sure if you noticed at the beginning when I was looting. I was like, oh, Ragnarok, I want to buy a Ragnarok, and I sold a bunch of stuff for Ragnarok, and nobody could equip Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You were not the only one to run into that.
I was like, oh man. But I'm like, okay, I'll sell my Ragnarok after Serpent's Trench, because I saw the Valiant knife and I saw Shadow could equip it, and I knew I had a Genji glove. So as soon as I knew I had that, I swapped Bahamut, who had the bonus to HP, swapped it right over to Shadow, and then just let Shadow basically be my carry. And then I found another Valiant knife after killing a dragon in Kefka's Tower, so I just used the Valiant knife instead of the Atma weapon for Edgar. And that was what basically carried me through Kefka's Tower, so through the final fight so fast. I feel like this is the cleanest Kefka fight I've had on stream, if not the only one.
Yeah, and so Jeffy got the Kefka Tower skip, but had to forfeit due to bad luck with Final Kefka. He actually got it, but if do you have any more questions for Squack McQuack?
I do have, I guess, one thing to ask. I mean, obviously you wouldn't know while you were playing, but all 4 of you were jockeying for first place near the end there. Were you having any feeling like you were really too far behind, or do you think that you were doing well, like you're really stoked for what's about to happen? How are you feeling at around like minute 55?
I think in a race, I think even what the newer players have to understand too, so I'll make this kind of like a PSA for that. I think the attitude you have to have when going into a race is when you race by yourself and you're not, say when you're running by yourself and you're just doing practice seeds of Ultros League, or say you're doing your weekly or whatever, and you know your average is about, 140, 150 or whatever, so long as you're close to your average, that's really all that matters. Close to your average. If you can get faster, that's fine. So I knew my average for any Ultros League run, or there's a couple of changes for this one, but for any Ultros League-esque run, my average is around 130, be it give or take 5 minutes. Obviously, give about 5 minutes for me here, but I think it's important for any person who is running the game or is racing against somebody. Winning is nice, but so long as you are near your average or know you're basically on your average pace, I wouldn't let yourself get too panicky, because then you're going to be more prone to screw-ups or mess-ups. So keep that in mind when you're actually racing. It's not about, being the fastest, although it's cool if you are. And congratulations to Jaxrock, by the way. Very, very close run, it looks like. Not too far off. But it's important for everybody to realize to compare yourself to yourself, and races are just for fun. They're not the end all be all.
And I couldn't agree more.
So I wasn't panicking or anything when I was in Kefka. Actually, that was the smoothest Kefka fight I have ever done myself, and I'm rather happy with how that run went, actually.
Yeah, it went really good. I believe you only had one round of the Goner.
I didn't get Goner at all.
Well, I meant the charge. Like, it didn't go past that first one.
He didn't even start charging.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. He hyperdrived me, and then I hit him twice with Shadow, and he died. Shadow was low health from Fallen One. Yeah, when another...
And you weren't kidding.
A quick tip for you guys. When you get hit with Fallen One, and your guy has Valiant Knife, Kefka's doing you a favor. Swing for the fences. Don't stop.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, do we have any more questions for Squack McQuack?
I think I've got it.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. I'll let you get to the next person.
Yeah,
that
GG's,
was really fun.
man.
Good job, guys.
GG.
Good run.
And yeah.
So we've got Yakko climbing up to the final Kefka here.
And it looks like we are joined by Jeffy.
All right.
He has his mic muted, but...
Looks like, Jeffy, your mic is muted.
Yeah, your mic's muted. Mako is going into the final Kefka fight.
All right, yeah, while he gets that figured out, let's take a look at how he's doing. Looks like he has a pretty similar party makeup to a lot of the others, throwing that Super Ball at first. Using Flare with Setzer.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there's Jeffy. We are now joined by him.
Hello.
I just found it interesting how you were able to get the tower skip so quickly. Sad to say that you had to take a forfeit, but how were your thoughts on that?
Well, I was just wondering where the characters were. I mean, whenever you're sitting there at 3 characters and 10 espers, it's like, what am I doing wrong here?
It was a very character light seed. I think out the gate there were maybe 2 available. I think no, I think there was just the 2. It was just Edgar and Cyan, right?
Edgar came in clutch for Squack McQuack, and the first place winner had, I think, Cyan.
Yeah, I think Edgar was on Mount Colts, and then Cyan was in the Kefka at Narsh.
Yeah.
So I
followed,
think... oh, sorry, go ahead.
And the boss there was Chad.
Right, yes. So I did notice, once you did finally get that 6th character, you made the choice to go after the skip and had some really bummer time at the auction house that we've all been through.
Well, I don't normally go to the auction house. I decided that if it comes up first try, I'll take it and go. If it doesn't, I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah, I think that's the general attitude towards auction house is you go in there thinking like, all right, this is going to be a minute and a half, no problem.
Oh, no, I went in there not expecting to get it, but if I just happened to get lucky, I was going to take it.
So
Yeah,
what was your... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that, commenting that I can see that kind of point of view.
Oh man, Yakko just took an Ultima and did not die. Oh, and he's going to take a goner. Oh no.
Ooh,
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna live through this.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That's sad.
I do want to ask, what was your thought process after the auction house didn't pay off? What were you looking at? What were you trying to think of?
Well, I knew
Oh.
that my levels weren't great. I knew that I needed another boss fight, so sitting there at the auction house wouldn't have helped a whole lot because it would have just made the final Kefka fight worse than it was for me. I should have taken a dragon before I went. The dragon would have paid for itself in time with levels and magic learned and everything else. So, a lot of times whenever I do these community races, I run whatever I feel at the moment. Like, this isn't the way that I would have run this seed for League. I'm not making excuses. I just tried something different.
Oh yeah, you gotta run off instinct a lot of the time. You know, you only have a few seconds to look at all the resources you have and figure out what you want to do.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking and I go, no rods, no balls, no nothing. What am I going to do that nobody else is going to do? I'm going to go hit the floating continent as early as I can.
Yeah, that was a very interesting play.
Now, would I do that in my actual League race? Most likely not. And it didn't pay off for me this time, but, you know, had there been a character up there, that would have been definitely moving in the right direction. It just happened to be 3 Espers.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on the floating continent early on?
Well, I mean, I had Fire 2, I had Ice 2, I had a few Espers. I was like, you know, the only thing I can't deal with is Magimaster. That's literally the only thing I couldn't deal with. Progression wasn't very high. My levels were pretty good. I figured anything up there other than Magimaster, which, I mean, 3 out of 54 chance. So, I mean, it's not, odds are he's not up there. And he ended up not being, so it ended up working out.
Yeah, definitely did. What were your thoughts about the final Kefka, like, kind of gauntlet? Were you feeling good going up to the final Kefka gauntlet, or?
Oh, never. No, I saw Dragoon boots somewhere, and if I would have picked those up, that would have helped a lot, because I had a horn, I had aura lances, like, I could have made a jumper that would have done pretty substantial damage that would have helped, but I didn't stop to go get the boots, because I couldn't remember where I saw them. You know, just little things like that I should really take into consideration. You know, I definitely made some mistakes.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to learn from those mistakes. That's
Right.
what I've been taught.
Yeah, I think that's a good... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
I think just gonna say that's a good attitude to have for a lot of these, especially community races, because they're entertainment. You know, we're all having a good time here,
Right.
and it's a perfect opportunity to do something weird that you wouldn't normally think of and see how it plays out.
Oh, I open Leet River all the time, especially for community races. I love it.
I love you.
Exactly.
Get on
The
that
only way.
raft.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeffy, for giving us an interview. Goku Black, do you got anything else you want to ask him?
Not anything in particular, no. I think we'll let you go.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all putting this on and commentating it, and thank you, Ceiling Cat, in the background, and thanks everybody for hanging out and watching.
Of
Yeah,
course.
thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
to
y'all have a good
everyone,
night.
and make sure to follow the runners and restreamer and tracker, as well as my buddy my partner in crime, Turdsman.
Absolutely. All these guys know what they're doing. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I think as we're watching Yakko Wacko fight the good fight here, we might go over and rate his stream. Give him all of our spirit energy.
So he's going, and he actually did take a reset.
It's true, but I think it's a situation where he has what he needs to do it. He just has to get through it and just not get as unlucky as he was getting with his hits. So it'll be good to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that's the thing that's going to happen.
So we're getting to the end here. I want to take another quick moment to tell everyone if you really want to get involved in this, if you want to chat with us about how this works, or just get involved with all these community events that we're having, please join the Discord. There's a lot of people on there that will answer your questions, or just chat about all the weird little intricacies of this game.
Yes, the game is very weird.
So I think we're going to be winding down here.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for listening, and we're gonna head out.
Yep. Again, go ahead and join the Discord and all that stuff, and yeah, we'll definitely love to have you.
Y'all have a good night.
Yep, and we'll see you later.